Are you trying to figure out where to stay on your upcoming Walt Disney World vacation? Let's figure it out. There are so many things to consider when trying to figure out where to stay at Walt Disney World. Do you want to be on property? Do you want to be off property? Are you staying at a good neighbor hotel? Are you having your own transportation? Are you relying on Disney transportation? These are all things to consider when you decide which hotel you want to stay at. One of the biggest considerations we have is staying on property and taking advantage of the early magic hours because our children are up early and we like that extra half hour that we get when we get to stay on property or at a participating good neighbor resort. I would highly recommend looking at those if your kids are early birds or if you want to take advantage of lower crowds in the park and get on multiple rides before the other guests who are staying off property are able to get on the rides and start populating the parks. Okay, so here's a list of all the participating hotels, all Disney resort hotels, and select other hotels which are included on this list. You can find this list on Walt Disney World's website because it does change, so make sure the hotel you are staying at is participating. This is a huge benefit. When we travel, we typically stay at a Hilton resort because we are Hilton Honors members and we either can redeem points or we're earning points while we're staying and visiting Disney hotels. And in that case, we are typically driving, so we have our own transportation to rely on and we're not relying on Disney transportation. When we do stay on property, we love to stay at a resort that gives us access to the Skyliner. So typically we would stay at Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, or Art of Animation because those are great resorts for us to be with our kids and have access to the Skyliner. We like the ease of getting on and off with a single stroller that you can just push it in. The kids enjoy the ride and the view, and we are really close to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, and it's a great ride getting there. We love the space that the family suites give us at Art of Animation, and I know those are quite pricey, so when we're not staying there, we like to stay at Caribbean Beach. Even with a family of 5, 2 adults and 3 kids, we aren't in our room that much, so to have the 5th sleeper is totally okay for us. That's something you have to consider because it depends on your budget and how much space you want to have. I know the family suites do cost a bit more. I do love the theming of Art of Animation as well as the All-Star Resorts. The one disadvantage to All-Star Resorts is the only transportation you have to rely on if you're doing Disney transportation is buses. And so that can be a little tedious depending on your family and your situation, so just something to consider when you're looking at booking there because those are value resorts. The other thing to consider is if you are looking at Caribbean Beach, they are 2 stories and they do not have any elevators. So if you have a wheelchair or a stroller like us, just think about that when you're trying to get up and down after a long day or start of your day, that you do not have access to an elevator. One of the benefits of staying at a good neighbor resort, especially one that is in Disney Springs area, is that you can walk to Disney Springs and you can get there very easily and quickly. So this is one of the places that you can play, you can eat, you can take a day off from the parks. So it's a great place if you are wanting to stay on property but not really on property. So consider a good neighbor resort. Staying at a good neighbor resort, though, you will have to pay for parking and resort fees there, and then you will have to pay to park at the theme parks as well. So something for your budget to consider. And if you want to see a tour of the Good Neighbor Resort of the Doubletree Suites, I'll link that video. We did stay there, and we are staying at another Hilton in Disney Springs at our next trip, so I will post that video, so stay tuned for that one. Hopefully this has given you something to think about and consider for your next trip when you plan to stay at Walt Disney World.
If you like this video and smash the subscribe button. We love you guys so much and always you are with it. Bye guys. Bye.